Now, the slander aside, in a sense, the BJP has thrown down the gauntlet for the other parties. Remember, Yashwant Sinha is the nominee for all the other opposition parties combined. Now, questions are being asked about whether Sinha will step back for a unanimous election of Draupadi Murmu to the office of president. Joining us, Shehzad Poonawalla, national spokesperson of BJP. Lokesh Jindal continues with us. Vikramanar, spokesperson of VCK, is also with us. My first question is to Saket Gokhale, national spokesperson of the TMC. Do you think that it's good form that Yashwant Sinha should step aside for Draupadi Murmu?
No, why should he? I mean, this is a democracy and everyone's allowed to contest elections. That's the point behind contesting an election. So why should he step down? I mean, he brings to the table a certain ideology. The opposition brings to the table a certain ideology. And
what is the ideology of Mr. Sinha to make him fit for the highest office?
The former finance minister, I mean, seriously asking me that? He's the former finance minister of India. He's the former defense minister of India. This is the person with a proven track record of governance. You know, there is no tokenism here. Sorry, we're not trying to make a, we don't use the president's office for virtue signaling. The president is meant to be the guarder, the protector of the constitution. And Mr. Sinha brings all those capabilities to the table.
But Mr. Sinha occupied those offices while in government for a party which you say is antithesis of everything that you hold here, democracy and secularism.
No, he was under Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government. And ever since Mr. Modi took on the mantle of the BJP, Mr. Yashwant Sinha said that Mr. Modi is a disaster for this country, and he left the BJP after that.
Okay, so his impeccable credentials versus tokenism of Draupadi Murmu.
Cabinet, he was not in Modi's cabinet.
Okay, Shehzad Poonawalla. So you're saying that Atal Bihari Vajpayee's cabinet was the good cabinet, right? Versus the bad cabinet now.
Is that how you guys measure? I mean, what's the IQ of this show? Like 11 right now? Because
exactly, of the people who are present here. It adds up. But anyway, that is not the point. That is not the point, sir. That is not the point. We are not into a juvenile method of debating.
You're asking me a very juvenile question.
You might think so, but you gave a juvenile argument. If you really want to get into such adjectives, a juvenile question was prompted by a juvenile argument. That being said, you're accepting that his credentials are impeccable, which means you're saying, all right, so the Vajpayee cabinet was a good cabinet, where you had impeccable credentials and impeccable ministers, right?
So are you saying that Mr. Yashwant Sinha was a creation of the Vajpayee cabinet, that he had no history before that? That Mr. Yashwant Sinha was born, became a cabinet minister, and that got him qualified? I mean, how juvenile is this question really?
As juvenile as the argument that preceded it. But anyway, let me take it across to Shehzad Poonawalla. Shehzad Poonawalla, no tokenism of having a Draupadi Murmu. It is somebody who has professional credentials, like Yashwant Sinha. Why should he step back?
Padmaja, I'll just take 30 seconds on your show and then I want to end my statement with a video. But before I do that, let me just tell you that personally, how happy I am that the NDA and the BJP and its parliamentary board, which was chaired by the Prime Minister and the Honorable President, has elected somebody like Draupadi Murmu ji, a single woman who raised her children, faced adversity, came from the most challenging backgrounds, got elected at a young age. She worked in the irrigation department. She got elected at the Nagar Panchayat level, then got elected twice as an MLA. She served in various capacities as minister, went on to become the first woman governor of Jharkhand, completed her entire tenure there.
But
she is going to be the first woman president candidate from the tribal community. One second, Padmaja, may I please complete? Padmaja, please let me complete. Let me, as a son of a single mother, please let me express my feelings for this great lady and the person who has a spotless track record in administration, in handling constitutional positions, and she will be the first tribal woman president and the first president candidate from a state like Odisha. So let me express my great thanks for the people who have backed her, including Naveen Patnaik ji and others also who are coming to support her. But let me just end by saying a couple of things. I don't want to go into the kind of statements and the language Yashwant Sinha ji has used in Twitter and on public forums. I don't want to show that video of him, but I want to show a very important video because Congress party is also here. The following video is of P Chidambaram ji on Shri Yashwant Sinha ji. Please hear it. You will be delighted. Hamara IQ bhi badh jayega.
Mr. Yashwant Sinha today is a distant memory for the people of India, and I hope he remains where he is, a distant memory.
Yashwant Sinha has become a distant memory, and Chidambaram ji said he should always remain a distant memory. By the way, Digvijay Singh had accused Yashwant Sinha ji of a 25,000 crore UTI scam and had demanded his resignation and the CBI inquiry.
Okay.
And Yashwant Sinha in turn returned the favor by asking Mr. Chidambaram to be jailed in Tihar.
Okay,
so I want to ask the dear friends from Congress,
and he was called one by Mr. P Chidambaram, who fights your cases in Calcutta High Court. Saket Gokhale.
Correction number one, Mr. Chidambaram in Calcutta High Court was representing Keventers. He was not representing the government of West Bengal. He was the attorney for Keventers. He was not representing the government of West Bengal in a PIL filed by Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of his own party, which the West Bengal government won. Number one. Number two, going back to your point about impeccable cabinets, let me remind you that my party chairperson, Mamata Banerjee, was a railway minister in the same cabinet.
The question is not that.
The
question is, Mr. Chidambaram says Yashwant Sinha as a part of memory should stay there.
You know, I'm trying to bring a little bit of facts here because evidently nobody does their homework here before coming. So my party chairperson was a minister in the same cabinet, as was Mr. Yashwant Sinha. I did not interrupt this gentleman. Please tell him. Again, this is absolute garbage.
Okay, please let him respond to that. Let's respond to the video though, of what Mr. Chidambaram says. Yes.
Why should I defend Mr. Chidambaram?
Padmaja, because we have to improve our IQ. Tonight we have to improve our IQ, Padmaja. Please, Padmaja, I want my IQ to be improved, ma'am. Please, answer this, please.
Saket Gokhale.
I am not the Congress spokesperson. Mr. Chidambaram's views should be asked to the Indian National Congress, not to the Trinamool Congress. There's a big difference between the two parties if you don't know that.
Okay, I'm unfortunately out of time. My apologies to Mr. Vikraman and Lokesh Jindal both. However, there is still some time before a final decision is taken. I'm sorry, Shehzad Poonawalla and Saket Gokhale as well. I'm going to have to end it here. But I promise you, we're going to pick up where we left off. We're going to pick up this thread. For the time being though, thanks very much for watching and enriching us with your wisdom.